Welcome everybody to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Presman. You're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. My co-host is Teddy Covers, and we've got a great show lined up. Although I didn't put it in Slack, I will now, Teddy. We've got Jesse Schule joining us right off the bat. He's got a CFL pick for us on the Alouettes and Argonauts. And he's also got a bet for us in soccer. Tokyo branded after that. Looking forward to seeing his new outfit. He's got two baseball plays, the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, the Twins and the DBacks. And we're going to end the show with more Canadian football. Andrew McInnis joining us as well. Lots of incredible betting opportunities in Canadian football, a sport that really should not be taken for granted. We'll talk about that throughout the show. Teddy Covers is my co-host and my friend. What is your big game breakdown?
We're going to talk Yankees and Mets, a little MLB for Wednesday night before this show is through. And, of course, in what Bettors learned, we got to put a cap on the NHL season, Lawrence. I actually made a bet on Game 7, the only hockey bet I made all year. We'll talk about it a little bit.
Well, did you win it? Just tell us if you won it.
Of course I won it, Lawrence. The only bet I made all year.
Oh, well, of course. Silly me. Jesse Schule joining us, everyone. Jesse!
Jude. Was it the under, Teddy? Did you have the under in Game 7?
Of course we did. We'll talk about it. Yes, it's the only bet, the only hockey bet I made all year, but there was ample reason to bet the under.
Yeah, 6-1 in their last 7 Stanley Cup Game 7s have gone under, now 7-1. Jesse, let's get straight to it, man. Canadian football, the Alouettes and the Argonauts. I love the over in this game, a play that I might end up releasing to my clients, and I haven't released any this Canadian football season so far. You agree with me. Tell us why.
Well, normally I like to bet unders early in the year in the CFL, but not in this particular matchup. You got a Montreal team that won the Grey Cup last year. They're off to a 3-0 start. They're averaging 32 points per game. Cody Fajardo, a lot of people will be familiar with him, former Nevada Wolfpack quarterback. 916 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, just 1 interception, 73% completion percentage on the year. And you got Toronto also undefeated, 2-0. They haven't missed Chad Kelly. We won't discuss Chad Kelly in detail because he's a bad boy, but Toronto's averaging 37 points per game, and they're giving up 31.5 points per game. And you got a kid by the name of Cameron Dukes, who reminds me a little bit of Nathan Rourke a couple years, or in his big season with the BC Lions, sort of coming out of nowhere. I was a lot more familiar with Nathan Rourke, the fact that he was a Canadian and the fact that he played for the Ohio Bobcats. But Dukes, I didn't know what to expect from this kid. He's come in, he's thrown for 468 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks, 81% passing in his first 2 games. Both these offenses are humming along. Toronto, their defense doesn't look like it's capable of shutting down Fajardo and Montreal's offense. I'm looking for a shootout here in Toronto on Friday. I believe this game goes off.
Yeah, Friday night CFL total right now. Look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. There are 50.5s and 51s out there for this total. And I want to ask you, when it comes to CFL totals, look, I'm neck deep in NFL right now. My win report comes out next Tuesday. All I've done for the last 4 or 5 days is just read NFL, read NFL, read NFL. When it comes to NFL, early in the season, we tend to look for unders, and then scoring kind of picks up week 3, week 4, week 5. Does Canadian football have that same type of feel to it, where the first couple of weeks the markets tend to tilt towards unders, and then as teams get a couple of games under their belt, you start seeing some of the higher scoring affairs in the market moving in the other direction? Or does CFL have a completely different feel to it when it comes to early season totals?
Yeah, no, certainly you see unders early in the season, although that hasn't been the case this year. And it cost me because in week 1, I had a couple unders that didn't pan out. The CFL is a bit of a different monster. There's, I think, higher player turnover in the CFL. They have a shorter preseason and training camp. A lot of coaching. You'll see a turnover in the coaching staff as well. So a lot of times you'll see teams come out and they'll be sloppy in the first couple weeks. Not so far this year, more overs than unders so far. I got off to a bit of a rocky start, but dating back to last September, 71%, or last August, actually, 71% with my CFL picks. So despite a slow start to this season, still humming along nicely with the CFL.
Tony Finn. Jesse Schule, I just got a text about that guy. Yeah.
Tony George, Tony Finn.
Tony George.
I got to say, Prez.
You look so much like Tony George, it's unbelievable. So Canadian football, is this a sport you've been betting for a while? And talk to us about why clients should bet it. Look, I know a lot of people want to watch it on television, and that's important to them. It's not a sexy, common sport in America to bet. I find a ton of value available in that sport. Tell us why people should be paying attention to Canadian football.
Yeah, I think you're going to find softer lines because the bookmakers aren't going to be tightening things up the way they would with a massive Monday night football game in the NFL. They're not getting as much action. They don't have to pay as much attention. For me, I got my ear to the ground, so to speak, with my local Canadian connections, following the Canadian media, knowing the game well for the last couple decades. I see plenty of opportunities for profit. And the numbers speak for themselves. I've been very successful with the CFL for, I think, dating it back a decade, Prez, some pretty nice numbers with CFL.
Well, and you also bet soccer, Jesse. I'm guessing that you have almost no sex life. I don't know how anybody who handicaps soccer could have any type of life, frankly, unless I guess you specialize in one league. But it's just never freaking ending. Switzerland, I'm a Euro 2024. You have a bet for us on them. Fill us in.
Yeah, I'm looking at Switzerland plus 0.25 here on the Asian handicap, which means if it's a draw, you win half of your bet only. The reason I'm looking at this bet is because it's a little more affordable than taking Switzerland plus the half goal. That's priced at minus 188, which is a little bit too rich for my blood. I really think there's a strong chance. What's that graphic doing up there? Anyways, there is a real strong chance we see a draw here. History certainly points us in that direction. And I think Italy's a little overvalued. They come in as the defending champs. They won the last Euro back in 2021. And they in the final, that final ended with a 1-1 draw against England. Italy won on penalties. And in the semifinal, they also played to a 1-1 draw against Spain and won on penalties. Italy's coming off a 1-1 draw against Croatia. So you see the theme here. They play a lot of 1-1 draws. If you look at their last 5 matches against Switzerland, the last head-to-head match between these teams, a 1-1 draw, previously a 0-0 draw. Italy won 3-0, another 1-1 draw, and another 0-0 draw. Switzerland also experts at playing for a draw. In fact, both these teams, what you'd say about them is they play a pessimistic brand of football. And what that means is they don't play to win, they play not to lose. And of course, that results in a lot of draws. And given the fact that I'm looking at the Asian handicap where only half the bet wins if it is a draw, I would also recommend sprinkling a quarter of your bet wager on the draw itself, priced at just under 2-1, and that's an indication of how likely the draw is because that's a very low price to bet a draw. And I think if one team's going to win this match, I think Switzerland is the better side, but I really think this could be a draw.
So why not just bet the draw? That's what I don't understand here. If we think it's going to be a draw and they're giving us 2-1 on the draw, I understand that we like to bet. So there's only 2 options, and in this instance, when you're betting the draw, there's 3 options. Is that why you're doing what you're doing here with Switzerland plus a quarter goal?
Well, if you're betting football or soccer, sorry, Teddy, the draw is normally priced closer to 3-1. So the bookmakers have really taken a lot of the value out of betting the draw here. As much as I think the draw is likely, I don't want to be sitting there with a bet that's got a less than 50% chance of winning. So that's why I'd prefer to split the bet up a little, sprinkle a little on the draw, and also take Switzerland, just in case Switzerland ends up winning the match 1-0 or 2-1.
There we go. Jesse Schule, everybody. Handicapper at. Are you now officially selling plays at WagerTalk, or are you still at Sports Memo?
Yesterday was my last day at Sports Memo, so I'm all in at WagerTalk and off to a great start.
Well, wonderful to have you. Excited. Congratulations. Well deserved, Jesse. What do you got going for your clients?
Well, we have a special available. It was very nice of Jimmy Adams to call me up and propose a 2-for-1 special. So you can get 1 week of myself and Jimmy Adams for only $99. And I do have a Euro play this morning, as well as a baseball play in the afternoon. And I've got a 5% CFL play for tomorrow night.
Brilliant stuff. Jesse Schule, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, take a second out of your day and please hit that like button. Teddy covers. What did Bettors learn?
So I wanted to talk about Game 7 of the NHL Finals. And Lawrence, earlier in the show, you referenced something like 7-1 of the under in the last 8-0. This was the 18th Game 7 of an NHL Finals. And of the first 17 of them, 16 of them had stayed under 5.5 goals. Elimination games go over, but Game 7s go under. I don't bet the NHL, but when I see a total of 5.5 and 16 out of 17 have stayed under 5.5 in the history of the NHL Finals, Game 7, I had to put a wager on it. I wasn't the only one. The line opened 5.5 to the under -115, both here in the U.S. and globally. It closed 5.5 under -150. So that's a huge amount of under money for a Game 7. And what it reminded me of Iowa in college football this last year. They just can't make a total low enough. Remember the Hawkeyes last year. They closed out the season 9-0 to the under. All 9 at 38 or lower. Most of them were low 30s. There was even a 28.5 against Nebraska in the regular season finale. It didn't matter. The markets couldn't post a total that's low enough. The best value sometimes is really on the margins. The lowest total is the highest total, something we've talked about on this show multiple times. Now, Game 7, it changed on a fluke. Edmonton was pounding the zone. They had multiple scoring chances. They couldn't convert. It led to a goal on the other end for Florida. They couldn't get back. Well, not a fluke. Everything in hockey is a fluke. But it could easily have gone the other way when it came to the side in that game. From a total, it couldn't. It was dead nuts under start to finish. So Canada suffers. They lose another opportunity to win a cup. The NHL playoffs were better than the NBA playoffs. It doesn't matter. NBA gets the eyeballs anyway. And, of course, what do you think about the Connor McDavid and his 42 playoff goals for Edmonton winning the Conn Smythe Trophy? I know they lost, but he was -3,000 to win it before Game 7. So even in defeat, they thought he was going to win. The markets did, and the markets were right. And now we're in baseball season, Prez. Well, that and NFL prep. Yeah. My brain is all NFL right now. Win report comes out next Tuesday, and we're cramming not as we speak because I'm doing a show, but as soon as the show's over, we'll get right back to the NFL work. Lawrence, back to you.
Yeah, Teddy, I know you wanted me to wade in here and talk about Game 7 in the NHL. No.
Okay.
I will not.
It's done.
Hockey is over and done with, and I'm not going to discuss hockey right now. My focus is on baseball, Canadian football, this show, and all the estrogen that is in my life. Tokyo Brandon joining us. What are you wearing now?
What's up, everyone? How's it going? I'm just curious why when we talk about soccer, zeros become nils and ties become draws and games become matches? Do people think they're European all of a sudden when they talk about soccer? I don't get it.
Well, what about love and tennis?
That's true, but yeah.
A duck in cricket.
Tennis is matches as well, I guess.
A duck is zero in cricket.
Okay,
Anything
That's
else?
the terminology for soccer.
Yeah.
You know.
Anything else you want to regale us with? So Tokyo, how long is this outfit gonna last?
Say forever.
Until I go to bed.
And then you put it on again the next morning?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is how I walk around.
I searched my house. I searched my house for glasses like that to wear on the show. As it turned out, all the females had left with their sunglasses, so I didn't have any. I then looked all over for a hat like that, and I failed and couldn't find one.
All of the grandfathers.
Any necklaces. Couldn't find any necklaces like that. Couldn't find a shirt like that. I really did give it my best, and I completely failed. And really, what the moral of the story is, Tokyo, is I don't even have shitty, ridiculous clothes lying around. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With that
what
said,
are you wearing right now?
I love this look. Teddy, go ahead, man.
Okay.
I think he looks great, and I wouldn't give him grief. That's all I'm going to say. I like.
I'm not going to take
this give people grief.
He's branding himself as Tokyo
as
Brand.
a pimp.
Yeah, sure.
Look.
My name is Tokyo, and I am the man. I come from Stan. I do blah 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 blah. Oh my God! Okay,
Let's talk about the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing Boston minus 145, minus 150 in that range. Total's been bet up. We were seeing 9.5 at the open, juice to the under. Now I'm seeing 10s out there at most books. Still 9.5s if you shop around. Can the Blue Jays and the Red Sox put up runs in bunches again yesterday? Or is this one of these pitcher props that we're talking about?
I'm going to wear a T-shirt next time when I'm on the show. How's that? Would that be better?
No, I want this outfit. I love this outfit.
Thank you very much. It's not really an outfit. This is actually how I dress every day.
No, it's an outfit.
Okay. You can, Hey, I'll do a live Twitter stream walking around Tokyo. I promise you I dress like this every day. But okay, let's get on to the Red Sox and Blue Jays. So Cutter Crawford, pretty good pitcher, but he's 3-8. And the Blue Jays, let's talk about, I don't like really the side here because both of these teams are somewhat unpredictable. But I do like a strikeout prop here. Cutter Crawford is striking out about 9.6 batters per 9 innings. The Blue Jays are striking out about 8.5 times per 9 innings. And Cutter Crawford has struck out 5 or more batters in 5 straight starts. So I don't know why his strikeout prop here is 4.5. Doesn't really make sense to me. When I crunch my numbers, I project him at 6.08. So I think Cutter Crawford over 4.5 is a really good play on this. It's a little bit juiced. I think it's minus 155. But he should be able to get 5 strikeouts in this game. If this moves to 5.5, I would lay off the bet. I wouldn't bet the under 5.5 either. But over 4.5, I think is a pretty good bet here. So Cutter Crawford over 4.5 strikeouts is my play for this game.
Any concern here that the Blue Jays offense that has kind of gotten on track over the last few games and certainly broke out last night with 9 runs in the first 4 innings of that ball game. Any concern here that we could see more of the same, which leads to a shorter start for Crawford tonight?
A small concern because the Blue Jays bats are starting to heat up a little bit. And Cutter Crawford, if you look at his past few starts, though, he has been giving up 3 earned runs, 3 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 4 earned runs, and he's still going 6 innings in his outings. So the Red Sox tend to not pull him, even though he gets shelled a little bit. Amazingly, he's an extremely efficient pitcher because he's finished 6 innings, 5 starts in a row, and only in one of them has he gone over 90 pitches. So it is a concern, but not that much of a concern because I think he's gonna nail 5 strikeouts easily here. In his last 5 starts, he's gotten 7, 9, 8, 5, 5. So no real concern. He's a pretty efficient pitcher despite his pretty bad losing record. His whip, his ERA, his peripherals, pretty good. So no, not a concern.
You're muted, Lawrence.
Oh, I thought I was.
I was muted.
Muted Prez
I
is
was
good.
sneezing. Teddy doesn't like when I sneeze on air. I haven't been able to stop sneezing since I got back from Vegas. Oh, shut up, Dan. No one needs you in my ear.
Yeah.
We should,
I'd like
we should
blame it on me.
broadcast
No,
Dan Boyd.
everybody
That would
wants
be
to
good.
hear you sneeze, Prez. Let's do a show of you sneezing for 45 minutes, and then we'll ask a question.
Actually, we should have Dan's mic live too because it's kind of interesting. The little comments that he puts in while we're talking. It's kind of
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's move on,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. Thanks for that commentary, Prez.
Number one MLB expert. Good one, Teddy. Way to mute yourself. Number one MLB expert in 2024. Number one all sports across the board. 3 out of the
In
last
profit.
4 years. That guy right there is actually the same Tokyo Brandon. One of the very few people who could look old and young at the same time. Tokyo,
Which is which?
you're as good as it gets. What?
Which is which? Which is
You
young,
look
which is
young
old?
now. With this outfit on, you
Yeah.
look like a hip young dude.
Much younger than the picture.
Who wouldn't want to look younger, right?
Okay, we'll go with that. Number one all sports profit last 3 out of 4 years. Literally, guys, as good as it gets. Do you have a promo or anything for our clients today?
I have a client play today in the Reds Pirates game, but that's going to start like in an hour and a half. So people who are watching the replay of this might not be on time to get there. I do have a 4% play in Mexican baseball as well. Mexican baseball, just like Jesse was talking about CFL, lines are really soft. I'm winning at a huge clip in Mexican baseball, and those are available on DraftKings and FanDuel for the most part. So I have a 4% play in Mexican baseball, and I have a client play in the Reds Pirates.
Okay, let's get into our next free bet for our clients.
Let's do it.
It's on the Twins versus the Diamondbacks. Fill us in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to make this quite short, but I have, since I was a scout in Major League Baseball about 10 years ago, I use the same database. I use the same scouting reports that I do for all the players, which is why I mostly bet the props of the pitcher props because I like one-on-one player matchups. But today I have the Twins ranked number 4 in all of Major League Baseball in hitting, and the Diamondbacks are ranked 19. Bullpens, I have the Twins ranked 16, where I have the Diamondbacks ranked 28 out of 30. And starting pitcher today, Simeon Woods Richardson, I have him ranked 16 out of 30 because I curved my starting pitcher rankings to a 30. So he's a little bit below average, but I got Ryan Nelson ranked 28th. He's horrible. Ryan Nelson shouldn't be in Major League Baseball. He's awful. I think the Twins are going to win this quite easily. And them on the money line was minus 112. It's probably dropped to about minus 120. Still good value. I think anything better than minus 150 is an easy play on the Twins here. The Diamondbacks bullpen is just horrific. Ryan Nelson is horrific. And the only saving grace for the Diamondbacks was their lineup, but they're underperforming right now at 19 out of 30 teams. So I think the Twins is a great play today. It was minus 112 when I put it out, but yeah, it's probably minus 120 right now. Still good value.
So here's a question. All right. And I don't know if this is a factor. Is this, I mean, there's always a million things you can think of when it comes to handicapping. But Arizona won last night, and now they're one game from being 500. Is that one of those scenarios that you worry about? Oh, you know, you expect the extra effort. They dig to get back to 500. They've been like trying to get there for some time now. They're at home. Is that a factor? Is that a concern at all here, or is it really nothing? Just a bunch of nonsense that handicappers worry about that doesn't have anything to do with what's going on the field?
I take games one by one. I don't really worry about what happened yesterday. Also, these guys are human beings. The manager can tell them, hey guys, one more game and we're there, but it doesn't make them play any better. Once they're on the field trying to hit a baseball, I don't think they're really thinking one more win and we're at 500. They're thinking, how do I hit this baseball? So
sure,
it's maybe, it's locker room talk and stuff like that, but I don't really think it gives extra motivation. And these guys always are trying to win. If anything, they're thinking about their sick dog or, their kid's recital that they're missing because they're playing a baseball game. These guys are human beings. I take it game by game. It might be a little bit extra motivation, but in the end, it's ability, and the Twins just have a lot more ability as far as hitting the baseball is concerned. And bullpen, starting pitcher, lineup, the Twins have an extreme advantage in all three of these categories. So I like the Twins today. Let's go.
You're muted.
I'm a disaster, Teddy. I'm not muted. I'm right here. Yes, I was. I can't stop sneezing, and Teddy doesn't want to hear it. We've been through this. Okay. Not my best performance today.
It's
Tokyo,
mine.
thanks for joining. Dude, always. We love having you on the show.
Peace out.
just for the record, Tokyo, I only make fun of people I love.
I love you too, Prez. Peace out.
You're the best. Thanks, my brother. Teddy covers. Let's get into your big game breakdown. Then we got Andrew McInnis joining us.
Absolutely. Big game breakdown time, focusing on MLB today after a little NFL talk yesterday. Of course, I am neck deep in the NFL right now with the season win report coming out next Tuesday. That report, of course, 150 over the last 23 years. That's 67% winners, 80% with the 5% big tickets. Let's talk about the Mets and the Yankees, however. For right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. There's really a fair bit of variance right now. Yankees, you can bet them anywhere from minus 120 to minus 130 in that range. Total sitting 8.5 for this one. I don't want any part of the Yankees right now. All right. Anthony Rizzo's hurt. Giancarlo Stanton's hurt. All of a sudden, Yankees, what are they, 3-8 their last 11? I understand they have one of the best records in baseball. They might even still have the best record in baseball, but they're not winning right now. All right, from a starting pitching standpoint, Heel's one of these guys who was like regression's coming. Regression finally came in his last start. He got lit up, couldn't make it out of the second inning in Baltimore, and now I'm hearing, he's going to bounce back. This is not a pitcher who we expect to. He couldn't have been better. He went 8-0 with a 1.14 ERA in his previous 9 starts. There's only one way a pitcher like that's going to go, especially when it's built on false advanced metrics. He's going to go down. The Yankees are losing. They're not hitting. What have they scored 4 or less 6 times during their current slump? They have a pitcher who's primed for regression on the hill, and they're chalk against the hottest team in baseball. Look, the Mets were awful. They went 9-19 in May. They did as many things wrong as you could go wrong. Now they're 14-4 their last 18 games. I think 12-2 their last 14. The best record in the majors. They've scored more runs than any team in June since June 1st, the most in the National League, 123 runs. Coming off another big offensive performance last night. And they're dogs? Not for this better, they're not. Give me the Mets at the plus price. That's a 2% client play for me on Wednesday. The New York Metropolitans at the plus price. And I wouldn't argue with anyone that wants to play this game over the total either. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez. Yeah, I know you're making a joke. Yeah, he's doing that on purpose. That doesn't make for great video. You're doing that on purpose. It just is you. Doesn't do what you want it to do.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about. Anyway,
let's move on.
I was on the Mets yesterday with my clients plus 1.5. I went 1-1. I totally agree with you on that handicap. Let's keep this show moving along. Andrew McInnis joining us. Andrew, how are you, man?
People talk about the dog days of summer. I'm not feeling that at all. You know, you got NFL prep to go. You've got CFL every week for me, MLB. All of a sudden, guys, I'm an MLB prop guy. All of a sudden, 5-0 run, 75% this month with MLB props. So mixing things up. The team totals were my thing for a while. Then they kind of went dry, switched it up a little bit. So I'm excited for the summer. It's not the dog days of summer for me.
Well, summer actually, I think, only started yesterday, Andrew. So we're right at the beginning of it. It's definitely not the dog days. But my pool is clean. Yes, my pool is clean. I'm feeling good. I'm going to hang out in the pool a little later on. Nobody cares. Andrew,
Prez, I'm coming to your pool, actually. I'm going to come for a swim in your pool in 2 weeks. I'll see you. I'll be there. So I know your address now.
I won't be there.
You won't be there? Okay.
I'm going to Vegas again.
Whoa,
I'm back in Vegas, bro.
Okay.
I'm going from July 6th to July 15th.
Oh, good. I'm actually in Toronto on the 19th. So there we go.
Oh, so we will see you. Excellent. Okay, we'll do this all off air. Edmonton Elks, BC Lions. BC is a big-time favorite here, -7.5. How should we bet this game?
Yeah, so guys, this is kind of a short and sweet handicap for me. Sometimes you just look at trends. You just look at a team that has another team's number, and this has to be probably the perfect example for that. 8 straight ATS straight-up covers for this BC Lions team against the Edmonton Elks, and they are just such a great team at home as well. And the travel spot, to me, sticks out big time in this one. So I'm going to look to bet on the BC Lions as home favorites here, laying a little over a touchdown in this one. Take a look at the travel schedule here to start the season for the Edmonton Elks, guys. They started the season off with 2 games at home. And in my opinion, I actually think it's not a bad idea to start the season on the road. You know, you build chemistry, you can kind of fight through some adversity, then you get to go back home. But since they lost their first 2 games at home, then they go on the road and lose a game by a walk-off field goal against the Argos. And now you have to go to the opposite side of the country to BC. It's an absolute travel schedule nightmare, situational spot nightmare. And here's a quote. Teddy, I know you'll like these quotes, and I've been liking the quotes a lot more lately in the CFL. So here's about a bet against quote you can get here. To me, it's astounding that a league with 9 teams can't figure out how to not play on a 5-day week. If the league cares anything about player safety, this shouldn't happen. The people higher up don't care about our health and safety. It's been made very clear to us. So I can tell the distraction right now is the short week, is their scheduling. They're not happy right now with their scheduling. And quite honestly, guys, I don't blame them. But guess what? In the NFL, teams play on Sunday and then they play on Thursday. Well, these guys played on Saturday and then they have to be playing on Thursday. The only difference is that they're playing in Toronto one week and then in BC, which is, again, the far west coast of Canada here. Taking a look at some of the scores we've seen from these 2 teams, 37-29, 27-0, 22-0, 46-14, 59-15, 43-10. BC has their number. And, guys, the only thing I will mention about this game, right now, the quarterback for the Lions is listed as questionable. So I actually haven't released this to clients for Thursday Night Football quite yet because I actually don't mind if their backup goes in because I'm going to get a better number. But even if he's questionable, I think the only way this number could go is down. So if you want to play this with me, I have no issue with anybody waiting until game day with waiting up until kickoff. But this BC Lions team coming off a great game in their last time out, putting up a ton of points against the Calgary Stampeders. I'm confident, guys, in this wager, -7.5.
Lawrence, you got to unmute yourself, buddy.
The hell is going on with me today? Anyway,
I don't
Andrew
know.
McInnis.
You told me that you wanted to talk and not to follow, and then you mute yourself and try to talk. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
Yeah,
what do you want to
Andrew,
say, Lawrence?
so Andrew, you mentioned that that was going to be a short handicap. 4 minutes later, can you define short?
Well, I should have said short compared to my peers on the website. Is that fair? Or no?
Okay,
Is that
Teddy.
not fair?
So Jesse Schule was on the show earlier talking Canadian football, and I asked a conceptual question. I said, what's some difference between CFL and NFL when it comes to early season totals? And he's like, one of the things that's different about the CFL is is there more roster turnover year in, year out. You're talking about past history here of two teams where one team's owned the other teams. But with all the roster turnover, is that meaningful in any way?
You know what? I'm happy you gave me that question, Teddy, because I'm usually the guy that's saying the same stuff that you just said to me to everybody else that pulls out these stats from 25 years ago. But again, the way I started off my handicap and was saying, sometimes you just can't argue with a dominant number. We're talking 8 straight covers, ATS, straight up victories here for this team. This is just a team within the division that's had their number. And I get it. It's different rosters, different people. But that's why I mentioned the situational spot as well. The fact that they started with 2 home games, then they go to Toronto, and then now they have to travel out west to BC. I guess it's just part of the show. It's part of me talking about how dominant they've really been. But you're right. Probably about after the 3rd or 4th game that they were dominant. 5-6 years ago doesn't really matter. And I understand that. So I respect the question.
Yeah, I shouldn't be so happy that I'm not muted right now. I just want to apologize to everybody. Not my best performance today. It does happen. I cannot stop sneezing. So I keep hitting that mute button and then forgetting to unmute myself. Andrew, the Tiger Cats playing the REDBLACKS. How do we bet this game?
So, guys, a very disappointing start to the season for this Hamilton Tiger Cats team, and they're going to try and right their wrongs this week on the road against Ottawa. And frankly, I don't think they will be able to. They've actually taken some money coming into their match this week, but I don't think that matters. And as we saw last year in the CFL, the way the market moves, you can't let that impact how you feel, because the market was wrong a ton of times last summer. Hamilton, I believe their number coming into the year for under/over wins on the season win total was 7.5. Ottawa hanging around 5.5, 6.5, very plus money at some books. But I've been very impressed with Ottawa through 2 games this season. Now, one thing I try and do in the CFL, guys, is not overreact. I find it's one of those sports where you have to let things settle in, be very, very confident on your preseason beliefs and rankings of these teams. But Hamilton has just been downgraded to me big time. And a lot of that is due to their defense here. Take a look at the scores in their game so far. They gave up 30 to Saskatchewan the first time they played, 36 the last time they played, and 32 in week 1 against Calgary. This team has given up at least 30 points in every single game they've played in this season so far, guys. And their quarterback, Bo Levi Mitchell, talk about CFL stuff to know. Sometimes in the CFL, you have to know when a quarterback is kind of just, he's ready to leave the game almost. I mean, Bo Levi Mitchell used to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, guys. He's lost his arm. He can't throw the deep ball. He's throwing ducks. It does not look good when he's throwing the ball deep. And with this team giving up 30 points a game like they are, they need their offense. Ottawa won their first game, upsetting Winnipeg. Their second game, they lost to Montreal. But I don't think the way they played was as embarrassing as the scoreboard dictates. Now they're going to be angry. They're going to be motivated. They're back at home. I'm going to go against this line move, guys, and take the home team REDBLACKS -1.5 after they were originally -2.5, -3. We're getting a better number right now, and I really like it. We'll take Ottawa to win this game and cover the -1.5.
Andrew, what do you got to promote? Teddy, I thought we'd just...
You didn't see the notes that I sent you? Where I said I do have a follow? That you said that you... Okay, beautiful. So I have 2 follows here for you. And the first is a simple question. What's a REDBLACK?
Press. It's the original name of... It's not like it was a rugby team originally, right?
No, that's the All Blacks.
Blacks,
they're still the All Blacks, and they're from New Zealand. Teddy, if we're going to get into stupid freaking names, let's save that. No, I don't.
We'll save it for another
a red
I
black
What's a
is...
REDBLACK?
No, Teddy, I think I got
when
asked
an
last year by Steve
African-American and
Merrill.
a Native Indian have a child.
Okay.
I don't know.
Non-factor.
I don't know.
Let me ask you this. Okay, we don't know. It was just a question. If we don't know, we don't know. The real question is this. In the NFL, when a team is winless after about 3 or 4 games, the betting markets start to support that team. The wise guy money comes for the team. They say they're not going to lose every game. And we've seen teams like the Cleveland Browns who lost every game and took wise guy support in every game after about week 3, week 4. Does that trend, that betting trend, hold for the CFL as well? Do you start seeing market support for the winless teams in the games that in theory they're supposed to be able to win? Or does the markets just fade them all the time, like Hamilton?
It really does, Teddy. You're right. It 100% does. Last year, like I mentioned, the markets and the way the numbers moved last year, especially more than any other year, they were wrong a lot. But Edmonton was a team that just took money every single week, and they weren't covering and they weren't winning. But the people just kept on betting them. And now here with the Hamilton team, like I mentioned, I try my best not to overreact. It's one thing that I feel like I've done well in my CFL betting career is keeping my beliefs and keeping how I feel about a team and not overreacting to a couple games. But these are 2 teams that I am going to react to. Hamilton has looked absolutely abysmal. I was worried about their offense coming into this season. I thought their defense would be respectable, but giving up at least 30 points through 3 games, because the thing is, Ottawa actually has a good offense. Their defense is just a little bit shaky, but they're coming off a game against the number 1 team in the league. So to me, this just isn't the spot for them to get right. I think Ottawa takes this, and it's a great question because, sometimes I'm mad I didn't bet a game earlier in the week, guys, in the CFL. I'm not happy I didn't get the better number. For example, the first pick I mentioned today, BC -7.5, they opened at some books here in Canada -6. But with this one, opening -3, -2.5, I had a feeling the betting market would take on Hamilton. So I'm just waiting to get the best number possible.
Andrew McInnis, what do you have to promote for the clients?
Guys, I've got a MLB and CFL 1-month package coming out this afternoon. So it's been a really, really good run. We're on a 73% run with the MLB best bets. Also 5-0 run with the MLB props. So super excited about that. And the best bet's going super well as well over the last year in the CFL, 2 seasons combined, including the first 3 weeks of this season. We're up around 40 units of profit, 4% and 5% plays. So looking forward to it. And we've got a best bet 4% this weekend on Saturday. So those are 2 plays. I am betting with my own money. I do really like. You guys can get the best bet over at WagerTalk.com. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Andrew McInnis. Teddy, I'm about to sneeze. Can't mute. Here it comes. No. Okay. Tomorrow's show, Marco D'Angelo, Ralph Michaels, Kyle Anthony, Teddy Covers. Take us home.
And tomorrow's show, of course, between now and then, I'm going to get you a gift of kittens for your house to help the sneezing continue. The show, much better when you're muted most of the time. That's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck with all your bets.